Hey guys, and good Wednesday morning. Thanks for logging on here to bamwx.com or the weather portal. Michael Clark with your latest long-range forecast update. Going to kind of touch more on everything we talked about yesterday with the updated June forecast, kind of how things are trending here, rolling forward, and really just kind of a day-by-day process here as we really want to watch and see how these forecasts verify, or how these lack thereof and these rainfall forecasts verify in the coming days. And I really want to kind of put into perspective for you how much rain we average in this new climate period. We have a new 30-year climate period now from 91 to 2020. And, what we need to do is look at, what kind of rainfall we average in that time frame, because those averages are up a little bit. So let's get straight into it here today. Not only do we have significant dryness coming, we also have significant heat. And really a very poor situation developing in the northern plains with gusty winds, low humidity, and temperatures that are going to reach 100-degree heat. All right, you can see in this image I have here below, these are high temperatures forecasted for Friday using a blend of multiple weather models. Triple-digit heat with gusty winds and low humidity. It's worst-case scenario developing up there, record heat. This is not it gets hot in summer heat. This is record heat being forecasted up here. Will probably shatter records, and it has already been exceptionally dry. The northwestern third of the Corn Belt here in some trouble, unfortunately. 24-hour rainfall analysis here showing a heavy rain event. We talked about that yesterday, moving up across the Arklatex regions, western Tennessee, Ohio River Valley up into Indiana. Raining pretty good right there, or out there right now. Let's look at just the current radar here, loop here across the area. Again, beneficial rains coming in right now across the Ohio Valley, down across Kentucky, Tennessee, and then some more rain. Just another thunderstorm cluster going through Texas this morning on that northwest flow aloft here, as it's been producing for several weeks now. Precipitation trends. Again, looking at the EPS week 1 and week 2, subtle drier trends here in both the forecast models. GFS as well. In the GEFS, you're seeing drier trends in the week 2 forecast, week 1 and week 2. They're subtle, but they're still, they're leaning drier and they're not leaning wetter. That's the main thing here. Week 1 precipitation forecast here from the European and the GFS, noting a lot of folks here not going to get in on some rainfall. What's very interesting is the northern plains rain suggestion on the GFS versus the Europeans not having it in the next 7 days. We'll watch that very carefully and kind of see how that verifies going forward. With the extreme heat and the low humidity, I'm not too hopeful for it at the moment, but we'll watch it. Let me kind of get this picture better for you. Here you go. This is the AM precipitation data from the models. European, GEFS, which is the American model, the Canadian, the 1 to 5 to 6 to 10, and the 11 to 15. It's obvious that the driest of those is the European model. The 11 to 15, still keeping things relatively fairly dry with little to no precipitation in the forecast. Honestly, this is a drier forecast because the GEFS has been biased so wet lately. To see its 11 to 15 day be somewhat normal to slightly below indicates to me that it is going to be a drier forecast just because of the wet bias this model carries all the time in that 10 to 15 day period. Much the same with the Canadian. A lot of this is normal to below. The first shade of green on this color scale is actually 100%, so it's not above normal rainfall. It's actually normal rainfall when you look at the weather model. All right, something to consider. This is remarkable. I wanted to share this. This is the 16-day GFS rainfall departure. Okay, and what this is essentially illustrating to us is just how far below normal the rainfall looks to run over the next 2 weeks. And if this is just if you're asking that GFS operational weather model. All right, so what we want to look at here is, the normal rainfall for the month of June. What we want to consider is the normal amount of rain. Especially across central portions of Iowa, you average 5 or more inches of rain in the month of June under this new climate period. So this is telling us that a 2-week period from an already wet biased weather model is running at 2 to 2.5 inches below the normal, which basically means it's not going to rain. That's basically what this model is saying. That's not exactly what I'm trying to hint at the moment, but it's an interesting signal from an already wet computer model that's again a model that's normally wet. So here's our week 2, and we talked about we went back and forth from keeping the equal chances here in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa to going below normal. We went ahead and went 75% of the normal, and again, if you average an inch of rain per week, which in this area here, that's exactly what it is. Then you could make the case that maybe you get a half inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain in week 2. So again, it does not mean that it won't rain. I have some suspicions that it could end up being pretty dry. Again, it may not rain much. So again, kind of teetering back and forth on how dry we want to go here. We definitely think the northwestern third is going to continue to run dry. 50% of the normal is probably conservative, if I'm being honest, but that's the forecast as of right now. Okay, we'll talk more about precip here again in just a second. The 1 to 5, the 6 to 10, the 11 to 15 day temperature forecasts. Really, all models are locked in on this. The GFS operational is just absolutely blowtorching it with warmth here in the 10 to 15. It may be a little overdone, but you can see expansive, significant warmth in the 10 to 15 on that model. I think the American model products are probably a little bit more expansive and aggressive with the warmth because they are actually trying to forecast more of a negative angular momentum and maybe picking up on those global winds slowing down a little bit more. Whether it's right or wrong, that's probably why the model is a little bit warmer overall, especially in the 10 to 15 versus the European products out at that time frame. So let's talk about these crazy high temperatures. In fact, what I want to do is I actually want to show you our model data. This was the European, but I want to go and talk to you about what our data has up there. So let's pull this up real quick if we can. We'll go to Midwest daily highs, and let's look at this. Here we go. All right, check this out. So these are high temperatures here. This is for Thursday. Okay, you can see here getting into the low to mid 90s. Friday, all right, from Des Moines over towards Lincoln, North Platte areas here. This you're looking at 93 plus. So again, we talked about yesterday. Well, it always gets hot in the summer, and it does. But guys, this is again looking at significant levels of warmth here. This is not normal to get this warm this early. No matter what you say, it's not. All right, but triple-digit heat, record-breaking probably heat up there. Grand Forks, Fargo, this is out through Saturday, Pierre, South Dakota, Sioux Falls, Des Moines. I mean, these are multiple widespread low to mid 90-degree temperatures in regions that are already lacking in rainfall. All right, we spread it into Sunday. We spread it east, 90-degree temperatures widespread. Look at this Monday, Tuesday. This is warm pattern. I mean, this is out to day 10. Upper 80s, we're above normal, well above the normal. So significant heat forecasted there. The question for week 2 primarily is going to be, let's start at week 2. Watch this ridge here, European ensembles. Watch it kind of sprawl out and expand here over the north central U.S. The question is going to be, how far west does this ridge retrograde or pull back? The European ensemble is a lot further east with the ridge than the GEFS ensemble is. But they both are suggesting retrogression or a pullback of that ridge. I don't think that's off the table because yesterday in my June outlook, I did say there's going to be probably a decent cold front the 16th through the 18th of June. In fact, I think I said the 17th. I think there can be a pullback. The question is going to be is can it rain in that pullback? And right now, again, in that European ensemble for that 11 to 15 is not liking that. It's not liking the rain there. Okay. So that brings into week 2 temperatures. The 9th through the 15th is going to be exceptionally warm. This is significant levels of warmth here. I think closer to that 15th to 18th, that ridge could pull back and it could get cooler in the eastern belt, the eastern U.S. Possibly some rain chances. Again, I'm just not sold on that. So let's look at this real quick on the next several weeks. This is the GEFS ensemble 35-day. and it has 30 ensemble members. So we look at their clusterings of members. We see that the week 3 number 1 cluster pulls the ridge back and brings the trough into the east. The mean is very sold on that. The retrogression of that ridge comes back. Okay? But watch what happens week 4 and 5. Okay, you have 11 members now week 4 that want to try to slide that ridge back over the Great Lakes. By week 5, basically all of your members and the number 1 cluster brings the ridge back to where it's at. Okay, so the cool period may only be a week where it's not as intense, and then as you get late June into July, that ridge may come back. And my main concern is that if this angular momentum does decide to go negative, I'm concerned. I really am about the growing conditions. So we'll keep you posted. June outlook from all the different various sub-seasonal weather models, GEFS, European, CFS, all very similar on temperatures. Precipitation, a little bit of a different story, but note what they all don't have. They all don't have any substantially wet patterns. The GEFS has an incredible wet bias, and I would completely toss this out. I just think it's wrong, 100% wrong. The European Weekly, that's the June forecast from the European. CFS is normal to slightly below normal for precipitation for June. So that's why we have the June outlook that we have that I did put out yesterday. Look, there's the mention of the mid-June cold front right there. Again, I want to preface that this is June's normal rain. So if you are in Indiana, I mean, if you're in the essentially the heart here of the Midwest, the Corn Belt, okay, you are 4 to 5 inches of rain. That's where you're at. Arguably, Iowa is 5 to 6. There's a corridor of 5 to 6 inches, locally 7 inches of rain here. Okay, that's the amount of rain that you average. So that means that if you take 4 weeks divided by 5, you've got to get 1.25 inches of rain per week in order to be normal. That's the change in the GFS from the previous run. This is where my concerns are mounting. That's the total GFS rainfall the next 16 days. And for June standards, this is alarming. That's what we got to watch. That's what the June revision to the forecast reflected yesterday, and we've got to keep an eye on that. So that's all I have for today. If you guys have any questions, hit the chat button in the app. We're happy to chat with you. I really am looking for a reason to be wrong here. I really am. Because every time we try to say something's going to dry out really, really significantly, it ends up raining. And I'm aware of that. This is something I'm well aware of. So I'm really looking for reasons to say, okay, it's not going to be as dry as we thought. And I'm not surprised by that. So far, I haven't found those, but that's what I'm on the lookout for. If you guys have questions, let us know. Have a great day.